It's very nice to be thought of as being pretty, as being, it's a plus. It's nice. It's not terribly important, but it is nice to have it in your favor.
Hello. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here, and I really do appreciate your time. I'm going to be giving my opinion really quick on this whole situation going on with Amara la Negra and Florence and Luche. So I'm going to be talking about this from the perspective of a black Latino person or a black Latina. I'm going to be speaking on this topic from that angle specifically, and I'm going to be talking about a few other concepts that are basically colorism by another name, so such as blanqueamiento, like mujer, raza, which is basically Spanish words or concepts that basically translate to better the race, to whiten the race. And it's all dealing with colorism concerning how lighter skin in every community, even in the Afro-Latin community, because we are all a part of the diaspora, is based off of light skin being on top and dark skin being on the bottom, based off of the same people who colonized all of us. But let's get into it. I'm going to play some of the clips, and I'm going to come back with the rest of my commentary.
Mad because I'm light-skinned. Why would I be mad because you're light-skinned? Bitches wish that they look like me. That's how black bitches hate on light-skinned girls? Say that one more time. Say that out loud.
For those who watch reality TV, a fight or a heated argument is not out of the ordinary, especially on a show like Love and Hip Hop. But the latest back and forth between Amara la Negra and Florence Luche has the streets talking about a much bigger issue. Here's everything we know so far, so you know. A recent clip of Amara la Negra and Florence Luche arguing on Love and Hip Hop Miami is making its rounds on the internet, and fans have some pretty strong opinions about it. In the clip, Amara la Negra and Flo exchanged heated words, and things went south when Flo called Amara a black and accused her of being jealous of her complexion, while Amara claimed Flo did not love herself because she sells skin bleaching products.
You should really stop telling black women to stop loving themselves. You stop loving yourself. Selling bleaching cream slaps the out of you.
Of course, this immediately got folks talking online, with many accusing Flo of perpetuating colorism because of her remarks. One fan wrote, "So can y'all cancel Flo the same way Erica got canceled? Flo needs to go. She been needed to go." Some fans had a different perspective and thought Amara la Negra may have been the aggressor. After receiving backlash for her comments, Flo spoke out on social media and attempted to clear a few things up with an apology. In a lengthy Instagram post, Flo took responsibility for her actions and apologized to fans. Other fans pointed out the fact that this is not the first time that colorism has been called out as an issue on the show. For those who may not remember, Erica Mena and Spice also had a previous issue where Erica Mena was not only accused of making colorist remarks, but excused from the franchise altogether. Amara la Negra has yet spoken out publicly regarding the situation, but could there be a bigger issue with colorism in reality TV?
Okay, so first off, I want to say this. I don't watch Love and Hip Hop. I used to watch it more consistently, but I don't really watch it anymore. So I didn't see this live on television. I saw that this conversation is going around, and it's a topic that I speak about a lot on my channel. So I wanted to come on here and give my opinion on the matter. Okay, so basically you have two Hispanic women, and I know this is controversial to an extent, but you have two Hispanic women, as Amara la Negra is a Dominican, and then you have Florence Luche, who is Haitian. Now, the reason why I said it's controversial is because you have some people who don't believe that Haitians are Hispanics or Latinos. I know that, there's like a distinction between Hispanic and Latino, meaning like Hispanic as in Espanol, as Spanish-speaking countries is different in terms of culture and the way the Spanish is spoken than people who are in Latin America. So I understand there's a difference, but I'm just telling you in this video because I am a Hispanic who uses Latino and Hispanic interchangeably. That's how I'll be using it in this video. So I know they're different, but I will be using them interchangeably in this video. If you do research the history and you see how the island, specifically the island of Dominican Republic and Haiti are connected, or Haiti are connected, then you will see that they're basically quite literally the same people. and that they were literally just divided based off of who colonized who and whose skin tone was more favorable to who. So if you do that, if you do your own research, you will find that information all on your own. You don't have to argue with me in the comment section, okay? In the Hispanic community, in the Latino community, is colorism just as bad as in the Black community in America? 100% yes. And that's because, like I always try to say on my channel, when you're dealing with matters of the diaspora, we were all colonized and we were all fucked with by the same people. It's not funny, but I'm just saying, we were all disenfranchised and harmed by the same 2 or 3 groups of people. And they all taught us the same self-hatred, the same self-loathing, the same concepts that have continued for generations and generations. That's how you have things like blanqueamiento. That's how you have things like mejorar la raza. Because those are concepts that you would only have if you were colonized by a white person to teach their offspring that, oh, everyone that looks like me is better. Everyone who talks like me is better. Your bloodline is made better by my addition, by the addition of my genetics. So that's how you get this mentality of better the race, marry white, better the race, marry light skin, better the race, create more fair-skinned people. That's where those concepts come from. It doesn't come from actual preferences. No, it literally comes from people, the people colonizing you, wanting you to create less of you and more of them. So we have to recognize where a lot of our colorist mindsets come from. People a lot of times think or embrace colorism because they think that it is a preference, or they think that it's a choice based off of attraction. And it's not. It's based off of a concept that has been created by an oppressor that has been handed to the oppressed. And it's based off of you constantly placing yourself at the bottom and placing them on the top. The subsidiary treatments that come down and that get passed down are literally based off of, I'm more attractive than you. My features are better than yours. As the colonizer, I want you to look more like me. I want you to idolize me. So a lot of times when even now in 2025, where you have people who genuinely believe that light skin is better than dark skin, is because they're just echoing concepts that have been passed down to their ancestors hundreds of years ago. It's only been ingrained in you because it's a part of the culture that has been established hundreds of years ago via slavery, via colonization. Okay? Now, when I looked up Florence and Luche, I found that she was darker skinned at one point, right? Because in a clip, Amara Negra accuses her of bleaching her skin, and maybe if she doesn't straight up promote skin bleaching, the fact that she is visibly out here being lighter than she was, and you know, I'm sure people who follow her, you know, because she does the whole Instagram baddie thing, I'm sure the girls who follow her are looking at her and like, oh, I want to look like her, I want to get the same surgery, I want to get the same skin bleaching process. I'm going to post a picture. Here's the picture. She was like my skin tone, my complexion. Now, this is how I look in a winter. This is like my tans from my vacations have kind of faded away. Like when you look in here, the lightest parts of my skin, I'm still brown. Nothing light skin about me. Still very much a brown skin woman. I fluctuate between brown skin and dark skin depending on the weather and the season. She was about my complexion. Now, if I were to pop up several, like 5 shades lighter than I am now, that would very much indicate that I'm bleaching my skin, or I'm doing something to intentionally limit the production of melanin in my skin. It's clear to me that that's most likely what she is doing. And so the fact that you have someone who is actively potentially bleaching their skin to look at a darker skinned person and say, oh, you're just jealous because I'm light skinned. Oh, you're just mad because I'm light skinned. That is a level of cognitive dissonance that I don't even really have the time to address in this video. But I will say a lot of times when you find, because it's happened on my channel, a lot of times when you are in some type of conflict with a light-skinned person and you happen to be the darker complexion, they will fall back on that. Like, typically light-skinned people, regardless of how they became light-skinned or how attractive they actually are around the face, they tend to believe that their light skin automatically makes them better than you. And that's why a lot of times in those conversations, you immediately have a light-skinned person saying, oh, you're just jealous. That's typically the go-to insult that many light-skinned people use. And like I said again, it is due to the fact that they have been told by their culture, whether they are Hispanic, African, Black American, Caribbean, they have been told that their skin tone is a privilege and it puts them on a better positioning within the beauty hierarchy than their darker skinned cousins, sisters, whoever. The moment a light-skinned person proceeds to tell me I'm jealous, I already know that whatever argument or whatever interaction we're having, I'm impacting them. I'm most likely winning. I'm most likely getting to them. I'm most likely pressing on something that's triggering them. I'm getting something. I'm tapping into something. And so the quickest thing they can think of to do is to say, oh, I'm jealous. Light-skinned people in general go to when specifically the topic of colorism is brought up, or when they feel like someone is jealous of them. Because even that in itself, going to jealousy as your default, comes from you also believing that colorism is validated. And see, that's really where I think the issue comes in. See, the thing about colorism, because it's been so salient in our culture, and that so many of us who are within the diaspora suffer from it being baked into many of our mentalities, our beauty standards, the things that we personally think, our personal preferences. A lot of us don't even realize that it has become a part of how we think without it actually showing up as a way that we participate in, or a mindset that we participate in. And so you will have people who bleach their skin but will turn around and tell you they're not colorist. You will have people who are actively trying to be lighter or have achieved a certain likeness and they're trying to maintain that, but then in their mind they're like, oh, I'm not colorist, I don't believe this. Because it's the cognitive dissonance. It's a disconnect. Because most people do not intentionally participate in colorism. They don't participate. Like, most Latinos do not intentionally think of, oh, blanqueamiento. Like, they're not thinking that. It's just a preference that they have been ingrained to believe is the proper direction to go, or proper way to think. I think a lot of times what happens is, when colorism tries to be addressed, you have so much pushback, because if colorism ever really becomes dismantled, the people who won't suffer the most is not white people. If across the diaspora, Black people, Caribbean people, Afro-Hispanics, Africans, if we all stop participating in colorism, white people won't cry. The people who will suffer the most are the light-skinned people who depend on the concept of colorism for their self-esteem. Those are the people who will suffer, who will feel the loss, who will feel less than, who will be, quote unquote, brought back down to earth if we all stop participating in colorism today. That's why colorism is perpetuated, because how colonizers are so tricky is they teach it to their conquests, to the oppressed, to the colonized, to the enslaved. They teach it to us so well that we begin to manage and we begin to infiltrate and perpetuate their teachings, and we maintain it for generations, and they don't have to do anything. And they know that if I teach you that because you're lighter skin, that because your hair texture is a certain way, that because your features are a certain way, that you are above those darker skin, kinkier hair people that look closer to what you would look like had I not been here to infiltrate, to interfere with your genetics, you're going to want to keep that going. You're going to want to continue to be at the top of the pyramid. If I'm light-skinned and I intentionally select a light-skinned partner, and we have more light-skinned kids, I want my light-skinned kids to participate in the same light-skinned... we have to be honest about these conversations. And like I said, like I always say on my channel, it is not a Black American problem. It is a global problem, because outside of Black people, like completely outside of the diaspora, in South Asia, in the rest of Asia, they are dealing with the same concept of white is right. All over the world, white people have fucked up so many people and their personal standards about themselves. And the moment we really start to understand that so many of the things that we think are problematic and that they are connected to things that really just would go away if we really started to dismantle them person by person. Like if each individual started to dismantle colorism, putting whiteness on a pedestal, how that would change the next generation. So do I think that in that particular argument, I feel like both the ladies were going back and forth at each other. I feel like they were both taking low blows, as women typically do on reality television. People say nasty things, and people say the things that you would think, why would you say out your mouth, especially on television? But I do think that the reason why you will always find in some way, shape, or form, regardless of the gender, that whenever you have a light-skinned and a dark-skinned person arguing, eventually the argument will return to colorism, and it will return to the light-skinned person trying to talk down to the dark-skinned person, because that's what they have been taught to do. So that's why if you go to any South American country, whether it's Mexico, DR, Caracas, Peru, Honduras, wherever you go, there's skin bleaching products being sold. We have to stop acting like our beauty standards are actual choices and preferences, and that many of them are 100%, if not 70 to 85%, influenced by white supremacist ideas that directly come from slavery and colonization. We have to be honest. We just have to be honest. The more honest you are, the better you'll feel, and the more you'll actually get on the path of developing a true self-esteem. We will all generally have better appreciation for each other, because we'll start to then find other things to think are beautiful rather than someone's skin tone or how white they look. But that's all I have to say on that topic. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.